Hey everybody, my name is Nick and today we're going to be going over how to build a basic resume. You may ask, do I really need a resume? Well, the answer is actually yes. Resumes help weed out the non-qualified applicants when it comes to hiring. If you don't put a resume with your application, then your actual odds of getting that job or even just landing the interview are very slim. A resume is a tool for an employer that introduces them to the applicant, their qualifications, skills, and work history. Some jobs beyond entry-level positions may require a cover letter and references, but we can get into that at a later time. An attractive resume is a key factor in what will land you the interview of a lifetime. A standard resume should consist of 5 key components. Your personal information such as your name, contact information, current job title, and sometimes a picture to help put a face to your name. Next is the summary, or as we call the profile. A summary on a resume is a brief abstract that highlights the candidate's skills and experience. And then we have your work experience, which is your past jobs, the dates you worked for each company, what company, and a brief description of that company and your most important duties while you were there. After that, we have your education, any type of college degree or program, seminar you've acquired or attended along with the dates. And lastly, your skills section, which are hard and soft skills you've acquired from your full work history that are relevant. When it comes to creating a resume, a good resume needs to be descriptive yet brief. The perfect length for a resume is 1 to 2 pages max. Anytime you submit a resume for a position, you should consider it as a sales pitch because what you're really selling is yourself. The 3 important factors when creating a resume are making yourself look attractive to a company, showing them what exactly it is that you have to offer, and showing them what separates you from the other candidates. Every position you apply for, you should constantly be tailoring that resume towards the job description and requirements. That enhances your odds of actually landing the interview. The first thing you should do is look up the job you're interested in before applying and analyze a few keywords or phrases that we can include in the resume to show the recruiter that you're exactly what they're looking for. Before you sit down and create your resume, grab a piece of paper and a pen and brainstorm some things that you think you should put in your resume. Once you do that, then you narrow it down to the most relevant to make it brief but descriptive. Avoid inserting any outdated information that isn't relevant to the job you're applying for. You can actually buy some great resume templates from sites like Etsy that really stand out graphic-wise. For this resume, we're going to be applying for a financial analyst position at Goldman Sachs. Before we begin, we need to make sure to never use cursive font because it's unprofessional and unreadable. Starting at the top of your resume, have your name in a large, bold, readable font size so it stands out. For each title, you should have the font size slightly larger than its descriptions. Here we use size 9, which is noticeably bigger than the size 8 we use for everything below. Notice we have lines that clearly separate each component of our resume so that it doesn't look like one jumbled mess. Your personal information such as your number, email, LinkedIn, and your address normally goes into a column either on the left or right side of the page. Below the personal information should be your education with your type of degree, the major, and the institution you received with the years you attended. Lastly, in this column would be the skills section. There are 2 different types of skills we can list, soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills are character traits that describe you such as communicable or analytical, and hard skills are skills or abilities that you learned on the job, like being able to use certain software programs. You should have no more than 10 skills listed to keep it from being way too overwhelming, with about a 50-50 ration of soft to hard skills. We can move on to the next column over. Below your name should be your summary, or as we call it on here, the profile. For our summary, we should compare the description, responsibilities, and skills for the job we're trying to get. The reason we do this is to be able to write a summary that can get our resume beyond the applicant tracking system, which is also known as the ATS. Now, most big companies use an ATS, which weaves out the non-qualified applicants. These systems can search for keywords within the resume. Notice in our summary, we have the years of relevant experience and some of the key features from our past jobs that are relevant to the job we're trying to get. The next section is our work history. When listing past jobs or experiences, we should only keep the most relevant ones within the last 15 years, unless that job was relevant. Your work experience should also be in reverse chronological order, from the top being the most recent to the bottom being the oldest. For each job, we should always have the title of the job in bold, and under that, the name of the company and the years you were there. We can keep the dates of each position strictly to years and not months because it's unnecessary. Under that, we should have an indent with a brief description of the company and any quantitative achievements of the company while you were there. Recruiters take notice when you start giving them actual numbers and are way more impressed by this. Under the brief description and achievements of the company, there will be 3 bullet points of your most relevant and impressive job duties that align with the job we're trying to get. These should also be as quantitative as possible. If you used a certain program at your last job, then you should include that because the job you're applying for could also use that same program, and they would much rather have someone who has experience with it rather than training somebody new. Lastly, you should always have a list of references, but only provide it if you're asked. Most jobs won't need references unless it requires any type of government clearance. Make sure the file name of the resume is the name of the applicant with the word resume right after. The last thing we should do before applying for the job is proofread 1,000 times to make sure there's no grammar mistakes.